Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. So this was actually a day after I was sick. So we had taken a day off of school when I wasn't feeling well, and I hadn't really been feeling well that whole Labor Day weekend. So this was us getting back into things. I had pushed through and we had school on Monday, but then come Tuesday, I was just down. I just could not do what I wanted to do. My body was telling me that I needed that day to rest. So, come Wednesday, I was feeling a lot better after that rest. But then there's just the cleanup of the house stuff, the homeschool stuff, which actually the homeschool room wasn't really that bad because I asked the girls to clean it up while I was just basically in bed all day, and they did a good job with that. But that also meant I didn't have any night before prep or anything. So this is me getting everything ready before our school day starts. Do you like to start September with all of the fun fall stuff? I don't know if I used to, but I do know that this year I decided not to. It just still very much feels like summer around here. I mean, we do have a few trees that are changing, one specifically in our yard, but it's like 82 degrees. So I just wasn't in the fall feels to bring out all of the fall books and start talking about fall and everything like that. I'm gonna wait a little bit before we do that. But just let me know. Are you like just fiending for fall and you were ready to get it all started? Do you just always do it September 1st? Let me know in those comments. I'm very expressive with my hands when I talk, if you've never noticed. And Emmy was copying me. She loves to do that. So that she was just making me laugh with that. But when we were done our poems from the Sing a Song of Seasons book, the girls decided they wanted to share their own poems with me. So that is what they were telling me. And then I grabbed our morning basket so that we could get started. And the girls grabbed some clay. Sometimes it's slime, sometimes it's whatever. I have no problem with them fooling around doing things with their hands, but it just has to stay quiet. And on this day, we also started The Boy Who Drew Birds because my girls love birds. I had already gotten this book, and we also live right by the John James Audubon Center at Mill Grove. So we are planning a trip there, and I'm really hoping that we are able to go through his house and everything. They give tours, so that'll be really fun. And part of Emmy's Apology of Preschool Science is this weather tracker, so she is catching up on that. The girls were ready for snack, and as I said, with being sick, I had a lot of just house stuff to catch up on. So while they were enjoying their snack, I started just tidying up in our living room and doing some laundry. I've said it before, but I do not fold my girls' clothes. I do kind of organize them into neat piles. It is their job to put it away, and I do not care if they fold it. Their clothes turn out just fine, folded or not folded. Alani was working on mathematical reasoning while Emmy was working on Torchlight with me. The country study that she was doing is the United States, which is why I thought that John James Audubon would also fit into this week. And when it comes to Torchlight, Alani sometimes joins in as well, even though she's done it. But I think it's important for her to have like different things that she's able to be brought in with. For example, we talk about how John James Audubon advocated for natural history museums and the establishment of bird sanctuaries, which are all really great things. But with Alani, I can also discuss the fact that Audubon was an enslaver who also participated in scientific racism. So I can bring things to the girls at their different levels. While Emmy is working on her United States flag, though, Alani is working on her reading from Pinwheels. Now, today's Simplify writing was actually a little bit more confusing than it usually is. I don't know when it happened, but Alani did writing with her dad, and they didn't exactly follow the videos because I never gave him the information for the videos. So they were supposed to be editing a sample that came with Simplify writing, following the steps for editing, and just kind of going along with the video. And that is not what happened because, again, I never gave Evan the video. I don't know when they did this. I don't know why they did this, but I had to kind of just work around what they had already edited and follow the steps as we were supposed to with the right editing marks and all of that kind of stuff. Alani did not love this, I'm going to be honest, but she did appreciate it once I introduced the erasable pens. There were actually two sample student pages. One was supposed to be done with the video, and then she was supposed to kind of try it on her own, and then she was supposed to edit her own paper. We ended up just doing the one sample because everything had just gotten so confusing. And then after that, we did a poetry reading from her dash book. We went back through her Pinwheels book to find some words that followed the doubling rule, and then she learned a little bit more about the doubling rule. And so I really like that they break down these rules or patterns or whatever you would like to call them, and she gets a lot of practice with them, with just the spelling practice in her book, but then also in the actual readers she's doing. There are just a lot of ways of introducing and practicing these skills, and that is just one of the reasons that I really enjoy Pinwheels. And going from one sort of pinwheels to another sort of pinwheels, Emmy loves these pinwheels sandwiches. I have the Yummy Toddler Foods book. Like, I don't know which one it is. I think it's like a snack one or something. But Emmy loves the pinwheels from that recipe book. So you can do it with peanut butter, with Nutella, with cream cheese, whatever. Emmy likes it with cream cheese. So this is me just getting their lunches together. And then you will see that Alani, just as Mercy Watson does, loves her toast with a great deal of butter. After I was done getting caught up with the kitchen cleanup, which felt like it took forever, I started working with Emmy on her vowels. So she has been working on the vowels, and I've just kind of kept it at that. I didn't want to go into the break having started anything more. So she was matching the letter tiles to the vowels. And then as she was cleaning up, I had her telling me the vowel name as well as the vowel sound. And then we just used these cards basically as flashcards. This isn't an activity from Pinwheels. This is just something that we decided to do. Alani was working on an independent math problem while we were doing that, but she ended up adding instead of subtracting or subtracting instead of adding. I can't remember what it was, but she ended up doing the wrong operation. It was subtracting instead of adding. That's what it was. And so she ended up doing the wrong operation. So once she got that fixed, she had no problem figuring out what she was supposed to do. Once I was done with Alani and she was doing Zern independently, it was time for me to work with Emmy. So she was doing a review of rectangles. Right now she's doing shapes for the unit she's in. So we did the review of rectangles, and then the next shapes she was learning was circle, which she already knows, and hexagon, which was a new one for her. And part of the lesson was a shapes hunt, focusing on finding circles and hexagons. Hexagons were a little harder to find, but she found plenty of circles. Emmy doesn't always participate in the mystery science lessons, but I do pull her in when I can. And she really enjoyed this one because they were planting radish seeds. What I love about mystery science, I mean, there are so many things I love about mystery science, but I will do a separate video about that. One of the things I really do enjoy is it really holds your hand the whole way. There are just no questions, there's no confusion. They show you step by step every single thing that you need to do, and it just makes it frustration free. It is just really easy to follow along, and my girls really enjoy it. For this particular experiment, Alani is growing her plant in sunlight and Emmy is growing her plant in darkness. But that is going to be it for this video. If you like videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.